All right, we in here. Keep filling up the room. Thank you for everybody for coming through. Thank you for hitting the prompts up in the chat. Um, just a little quick housekeeping before we start. I'm gonna try to get to everybody's questions. Please hit the chat up. This is an interactive thing. I need y'all to make this thing, what it actually can be. So I'm gonna be leaning on y'all. I'm gonna be asking questions. We're gonna have polls. And I need y'all to participate like you have been doing. So I appreciate that. We are live. I see people coming in from all over. If you can, shout out where you're from. Shout out your program. I see Texas. I see Ohio. Shout out to the homies. We got Michigan. We got Pennsylvania. I love it. We got Illinois. Making it Illinois, my people. Drop your city. Keep dropping your city. Drop your program. Shout out your programs. They'll be on the replay too, so people can see it. A lot of job seekers are looking at my content. They're looking to see where they can go. All right, beautiful. So we got everybody pretty much all over the country in this thing. CTE directors, college program coordinators, workforce leaders, economic development folks. Shout out to y'all. Thanks for joining the call. And this is exactly who we should have in this room. So we in great company right now. All the change makers, all the people that can make these things happen. Before we dive in, like I said, let me tell you what we're not gonna do today. All right. Number one, this is not a competitive my program's better than your program thing. This is about collaboration. That's what the New American Manufacturing Renaissance is about. This is about building a safe community where we can share these things that we're struggling with, share some of our obstacles, and as a community, come up with ways that we can overcome these obstacles together. Or we can share our wins. We can share how to scale these things. So, number one, this is a collaborative safe community. What we do in this community does not leave from this community unless, as a community, we say this is a case study we want to talk about, right? So you're safe here. Share what you're going through, share your wins, share your struggles, share your setbacks. Everything that we talk about here is going to help the next person. It's going to help me come up with more ideas to speak to y'all about, more things for me to deploy in my network of technical colleges that I work with to see if they work or not, right? So that's number one. Number two, this is not one of those boring webinars from some consultant who's never been in a classroom, never been in industry, never hired your type of students, that it's just all theory. Okay. This isn't me just saying you need to market better. This isn't going to be somebody, or me saying you need to partner with industry more, not telling you what that looks like, not telling you exactly how to do it. Okay. This is not the advice that you've heard. I'm telling you that right now because that hasn't solved your problem. You wouldn't be here if it did. What we are going to do today is we're going to get real about why your programs aren't as full as they should be, number one. And we're also going to give you 6 specific systems. I'm going to break them down and show you exactly how to pack out your program, right? I'm going to show you things that you can implement as soon as tomorrow. Well, that's Saturday, but as soon as a Monday, 6 Monday morning action that you can implement, and it's going to turn this thing around. You'll start seeing immediate results. Okay. But here's the bigger frame that I want you to stay within and just keeping your mind at the forefront of your mind throughout this whole thing. And that's who you serve, right? You are a bridge between two clients, okay? You have to serve the community that needs good careers and access to these skills to get them. And then you're also on the other side serving our industry who needs access to skilled up workers, okay? your program, again, like I said, is the bridge between both of those things. And the thing about a bridge is they're not just something that travels one way, right? So thank y'all for hitting the chat. Thank you. It's not something that goes one way, right? A bridge goes both directions, right? So we've got to make sure that in our program, we're not just community facing, because then we'll have great enrollment for a while. People will come in, people will get skilled up, and then there's nowhere for them to go, right? And if there's nowhere for them to go on the back end of your program, that they invested their time and their money into this program, they're going to go back to the community and say, hey, it's a waste of time, you don't go, and that pipeline is going to dry up, right? Adversely, if you're on the side of just serving the industry, in the beginning, that will be a good relationship. They'll want to hear, the stories and the projections and what you can do. But as soon as you're not doing it and you're not delivering on the placements, on the quality of workers, if you can't place people there and they stay past 90 days, that industry relationship is going to dry up, right? And the thing about both of these pockets of people, the industry is in manufacturing associations. They're going to talk, and then the community is a community. So they're going to be talking the same way, and your brand is going to be whatever they say it is, not what you're pushing. So you got to be authentic there, and you got to serve both sides equally. There can't be an imbalance, because it's going to dry up one of the pipelines and it's going to end up shooting you in your foot. Okay. So today we're going to talk about how to be that bridge, how to build that bridge, all the way from the communities that need it most, the neighborhoods that need it, that are right in your backyard, whether that's urban or rural, and the industry that needs those people. Okay. If that sounds good, uh, drop a yes in the chat. All right. So most of y'all know me. Most of y'all have either been supporting me since I was in the classroom and I started using my own PTO and my own personal time to go to your schools and help you out with these programs, or my tour came to your school, or you just watch my content and use my free marketing material for programs, or maybe you saw me keynote the H-Tech Technical Educators Conference and we built a relationship there, or maybe you just see me online and you see the work that I do with technical colleges. Maybe you were a part of my last technical college cohort where we worked for the past year and a half building out systems for 12 different schools. Or again, maybe this is your first time, encountering me. But let me give you a quick credibility check just in case you need that. But my name is Drew, the MFG Crow. I was a two-time felon before I was a grown man, and I was a teenage father. I grew up in an environment where the path most people saw for me was either prison or worse, death, right? And typically that's all you get in the life that I was living, those two pathways. So today, I've helped plenty of people, thousands of people, build a six-figure career in advanced manufacturing. I've helped people get in. I've helped people scale up. I've done it myself. Um, Two-time aerospace and aviation man of the year. Um, I've advised the White House and the Pentagon on manufacturing policy, and I've done national manufacturing tours. Probably been in your state for the past 4 years. I've hit 12 cities, 2 days in each city, one day with job seekers and students, the next day with industry and policymakers. That's been going on for 4 years straight. This is actually my fifth year in April. If you want me to come to your school, hit me up. Um, we're booking in dates now for 2026. And, you know, we've impacted over 50,000 lives in this 5 years. On top of that, I serve on multiple CTE boards for different high schools, different technical colleges. I ran a technical college for 4 years in St. Louis, Missouri, and I work with technical colleges one on one to build out these systems every single day. Um, yeah, so in the last several years, I've helped hundreds of programs just like yours, go from empty seats to waiting lists. And the only thing that holds them back at a certain point is the amount of equipment they have and the capacity to be able to train, people. I'm talking daytime full programs that are tied to degrees, or even nighttime programs, or programs that are just certifications. I've worked with them all. I've helped build out stacks of both. We've done all of the things. And people ask me how I did it. And this isn't something that I learned from a textbook. I walk into a shop as that kid, that two-time felon father, and I got it from the mud. I started working on the third shift, cutting material, cleaning machines, all the way up to, you know, working on the manual machines, and then the CNC machines, and then the programming room, and then running the shifts for a lot of the major companies here in the Midwest. And then I kept getting a knock on my door, and people, knew what I could do, knew how I could turn things around, hire graduates like yours, keep them retained, help them skill up, and just really contribute to the company. So the local technical college was blowing my phone up, and they were like, "Hey, can you do it for our program as well?" I didn't know if I could. I didn't come through the technical college route. I knew what I was doing. I knew I could get people into our field, but I wasn't sure how to pack a program. I wasn't sure how to fill up a classroom. I took the job in 2018, right around the time the pandemic hit, and we continue to grow consistently every single semester, year on top of year, since that point. Now, I left there 4 years later so I could come help programs like yours, and I've been doing that for the past 5 years, like I said. This is something that I live. I was the unreachable student. I was the one that the counselors wrote off. Like I said, I was the one whose neighborhood nobody, from our world ever would come to and tell us about these opportunities. You know, Nobody came in and said, "Yo, bro, this is for you." That's who I am. That's why I do this work. And again, like this webinar, a lot of the things that I do, I try to give it to y'all because I was in your position as an educator trying to figure this thing out, right? In an industry that has not been talked about or, you know, pushed for long before I was in school. So I had no idea how to do it. I didn't know how to keep this old archaic industry up with the times, right? So these are things that I learned myself in the fire. These are things that I was the candidate that y'all will be looking for soon as after I walk y'all through this stuff. I was the instructor. I was the person in the industry hiring, looking for quality programs to build relationships with. And today I build those things out. So this is what we're gonna do right now. And again, I'm trying to give it for free, right? I'm trying to do it in this format because I understand, as many of y'all that I may have impacted in person, there's so many more that I can continue to impact if I do it digitally as I'm on the road, as I'm, coming to visit y'all, as I'm keynoting the conferences. Y'all will have something else to reference, right? So let's start with the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. It's not a you thing. All of these programs across the United States are in a crisis. Okay. Enrollment is down across the board 30 to 50% since COVID hit. Parents are pushing their kids towards a 4 year college. Gen Z thinks manufacturing is dirty, dangerous, and dead end, and there's no money in it. Even though most of them have the skills or can say that they want to work in STEM, they don't even associate advanced manufacturing with a STEM career at all. They can't even make that correlation. And your administration is asking you to keep pushing the program and marketing the program, or you know do outreach in old outdated ways that haven't been working for a long time. And then when you try to do something new, they're asking you to justify why they should keep funding programs with all these empty seats. And it's true, like you can't be mad at them, right? And it's like the chicken and the egg. I remember asking for multi-axis because I knew our industry advisory board said they needed students to know multi-axis. And of course, at the time, that was a it still is an expensive lift, an expensive ask for a program. But I knew that the industry needed that. We would get graduates hired quicker. We would get graduates, a higher salary, which would work for them to come back and market to the other kids about our program. And all the administration was worried about was why we only got 8 kids in the seat, right? Why are we only having, less than double digits in the program? And it's like, if you get me the machine, I can get more kids in the program. And they were like, well, if you have more kids in the program, we could get you the machine. And we're just going back and forth, right? Drop in the chat, what's your enrollment compared to pre-COVID, if you were there? If you know, if it's higher, let me know. Shout out to y'all. If it's not, be honest, this is a safe space. See some of what we got coming. Exactly. You being 100. Thank you for that. Okay. That's what I thought. So here's what makes me angry. It's not because manufacturing careers aren't viable, aren't accessible. It's not because they're not great. It's because we're losing the PR battle, basically. Like, students are graduating with $100,000 in debt for jobs that are paying $30,000 to start. And you get to 45K maybe in the first 5 years, maybe, right? And meanwhile, we're sitting on careers in manufacturing that start at $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 with benefits, with overtime as much as you want, with job security. But Amazon's hiring all the people. How does that even make sense? Here's the other crisis that isn't talked about nearly enough. Right now, it's upwards of, depending on where you look, between 500,000 to a million open jobs in advanced manufacturing right here in the US. Okay. And that's opportunity. And we are the direct pipeline to that opportunity. And somehow, somewhere between 10, 20, 25 miles of your program, there are neighborhoods with 20, 25% unemployment rate. And again, this is whether you're urban or rural. The same things are happening right outside your door. Okay. There are people in those neighborhoods that are counted in that unemployment rate that would be amazing fits for your programs and then in turn for our industry. Okay. The problem is nobody's knocking on their door. Now, that's not a marketing problem. That's not a budget problem. That's a bridge problem. You have exactly what those communities need. You have exactly what can help them turn it around. You have exactly what the industry needs you to have to be able to reach to those communities and turn them into next leaders of the new American manufacturing renaissance. But they don't know you exist. Okay. And the gap between them and you is what we're going to fix today. All right, it's poll time. Let me get this poll up on your screens. What is your biggest enrollment challenge right now? Is it A, parents push kids towards college and we can't compete with the 4-year narrative? B, students think manufacturing is old school, dirty, dangerous, dead end, dark, whatever other D's I'm missing. It's that. C, we're not reaching the communities that need us the most. Let's be honest. Is it D, screenagers don't know we exist? We're invisible on social media, or we're putting stuff out on social media and it's just not hitting. We ain't getting no likes. Excuse me, we're getting no traction, no reposts, no none of that. Or is it E? We don't have enough industry partnerships for guaranteed placement. That's real. Or is it F? All the above, honestly, all of it, and that's real as well. Give me some love. Let me see in the chat what we dealing with. Okay, we got some C. That's real. A's, a lot of A's in here. D. They don't know we exist. And more F's. F's coming in too. Like, okay, that's real. Most of y'all, it looks like there's more F's than anything across both of these. And that's super real. Like I said, this is where we need to share this stuff. But that's the bad news. Okay. The good news is every single one of these problems has the same root cause, and we're playing defense instead of offense. And that's the only thing. It's all fixable. We're reacting to what parents think, we're reacting to what the students believe, we're reacting to how other programs or other people operate. And again, this is not about trying to down another program or become another program. That's not going to get you where you want to go. Okay. Today, I'm going to give you the playbook on how to go on offense. Okay. We're going to flip this around. We're going to turn the tables so you're calling your own shots. Okay. 6 systems. Each one of them is going to solve one of these problems that you've identified, or all of the problems if you were all of the above. Together, they're going to create a machine that fills your seats and builds a waiting list for you to get in. And it's going to keep them full. It's going to continue to self, it's an ecosystem that's self-serving. Okay. So let's get into it. Here's the 6 systems for a packed program. I gotta say, man, y'all are really making me proud. Hitting up that chat across Facebook is active. YouTube, shout out to y'all. If y'all are streaming directly from learn.drewcrowmfg.com, thank y'all. Trying to work all of these. But here's the framework. Should be on your screen. 6 systems, each one a specific problem, and each one has at least one quick win that you can implement Monday morning. Okay. And let's just break it down real quick. System one, we're going to stop the dropout. Okay. We're going to fix retention. We're going to, make sure that we're making our recruiting efforts count. There's no point in putting energy or resources into recruiting if you know everybody's leaving in week 6, okay, or month 6, if that's what your program is set up for. Number two, the screenager Gen Z Gold Rush, okay? We're going to recruit the TikTok generation using their language and not ours, okay? Using their people and not ours. I see a program out there that's already struggling on enrollment, and they're putting time and effort and resources into making cartoons that aren't interesting for their target audience. If you run a program and you have to be between 16 and up to get into your program, why are you not filling seats and you're making things that 16 and up doesn't care about? That's not going to get your seats filled. Your number one thing right now should be only what's going to fill these seats. Okay. If you want to get to middle school kids and elementary school kids, have your seats filled first and then start going after that younger demographic. It's not a bad thing to do, but you can't put the cart in front of the horse, bruh. Okay. System three, the manufacturing glow up. We're going to rebrand your program from industrial tech to the smartest career move in your zip code. We're going to change these things so people can look at a course or a class or a series of courses and understand, what is this going to teach me that I can use right away, and how fast can I use it? Okay. We're going to speak the language of the people that you want to get into your program and make it make sense to them. System 4, hidden talent pipelines. I'm going to show you the neighborhoods with the highest unemployment, how they're going to be your best recruiting grounds. I'm going to show you how to find them. I'm going to show you how to talk to them. And I'm going to show you how to bring surrounding services to help them finish. Okay. System 5, show me the money. I'm going to show you how federal funding is straight exploding right now. And you got a head start, whether you know it or not. Pell Grants for apprenticeships, Perkins Funds, SNAP employment and training, industry co-investment. It's a big bag for you to grab from. And I'm going to show you exactly how to get it. I'm going to show you how to stack these things. And I'm going to show you how to use them all to your advantage. System 6 is industry love affairs. We're going to stop the transactional partnerships, okay? We're going to build relationships where industry is invested in your success, okay? We're going to make sure that they love you long time, just like you're going to love them long time, okay? And they're going to understand that your success is their success, okay? So we're going to go through all 6. I'm going to try to get through them fast. Real examples. They're going to be real tactics. And at the end of each one of these, you're going to get a Monday morning action to implement it right away. Okay. And then at the end of the full thing, I'm giving you the toolkit in a 90-day roadmap so you don't mess up at all. There's no questions. You can make this happen. If you're ready, type let's go in the chat. As a matter of fact, type LFG. You know what the F stand for. LFG, MFG. All right. Pull up this first system. First system is stop the dropout. All right. Here's a stat that should keep you up at night, and you probably have felt it. The average CTE program loses 35% of students before completion. That goes for CTE, that goes for vocational tech, that goes for technical college programs. You're going to lose 35% of students before they are supposed to complete the program. And if you think about that, you're spending all this time, all this money, all this energy, all these finances, recruiting, working social media probably the wrong way, calling the community organizations, running the open houses, just to watch a third of all of the people that you fought to bring in here not even finish. They're going to wash out before they get there. Why does that happen? 3 reasons that keep on showing its ugly head every single time. Number one, and this is the most important thing, they don't feel like they belong. Okay. You sold them this dream in the beginning. The first week when they got there, nobody really talks to them. They feel lost. They feel like manufacturing is for other people and they stick as long as they can. But the whole time, they're not really learning. They're not really applying the skills. They're not really getting anywhere because they feel like an outsider in the program and this industry is just not going to be for them. Okay. So they walk out before they finish. They bounce. Number two, the work is tougher than they expected. Again, you're selling a dream on the front end. You're selling maybe the money that they can make. You're selling the jobs that they can get. And you're not telling them really what this program is going to be like. And then also, this might be their first real challenge, right? Especially in CNC, where I come from, they're intimidated by this big, loud machine that costs all this money that can potentially be dangerous. You know, it's something that might be their first time. So the first time they mess up a part, the first time they fail a quiz. And the important part is there's no support system that understands that, right? And there's nobody for them to lean on. So they quit, they bounce, right? Number 3, life happens. Right now, life is not like it had been for any years in the past, any generation in the past. This is the most chaotic time of life. The most you're getting bombarded by something new every single day. You know, 1,000 different things. Childcare is as expensive as it's ever been. Family units aren't as close and tight knit as they are, cars break down, mental health spirals, and there's no, safety net to catch anybody. There's no holistic services. And if they leave the program, they can't come back, or when they come back, they got to start all over, or they've wasted their Pell Grant eligibility, or just there's so much mess that goes along with these programs in life not being flexible enough to line up with each other. So what we got to do is we got to fix retention on the front end. We have to fix retention first because recruiting is expensive and retention is your ROI. Okay, but here's what a lot of programs are missing about retention. So I want you to listen really closely. Retention doesn't start on day one. Okay, it starts the moment someone hears about your program. It starts the moment somebody tells somebody, or they see you on social media, or they're, whatever. But however that comes to them, probably through one of their community channels, that's when the retention starts. If they came through an alumni, a neighbor who graduated, or somebody they bumped into at the grocery store, or a community org, or anybody that vouched for you, or if they came through an ambassador, maybe, who is a part of your program that actually came from their community and knows their name, that retention starts creeping up to about 80%. Okay. So this before they even walk in the door. So trust is your most powerful asset, and it's your strongest retention tool. Okay. Trust is the number one thing, and it does not come from you, most likely personally. It's got to come from somebody in their community, or somebody that they trust. I don't know what just happened. Okay. And that trust has to get built prior to enrollment. All right. So here's what a program with the 85+% retention rate does differently. Okay. They have a first week playbook. So if you don't have a first week playbook, that's the first thing that you need to start talking about right now. If you're a note taker, shout out to all my note takers. We have to build out that playbook, and it's not complicated. I'm going to give you one right now. Okay. Day one, you're going to build out your peer buddy system. Okay. Every new student gets assigned to a second year student or a second semester student, okay, as a buddy. This is not optional. This is not, I think I could, or no, 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 not if time allows. It's a non negotiable. It has to happen. This has to be part of your program, okay? That buddy is their first point of contact when they're confused. They know who to point them to, they know the direction to go to. They've already been there, done that. They can help out. Okay. This is their first proof that somebody who was in their position can succeed here and has succeeded here already. Okay. So we already started building that trust through the community, the person enrolled. Now we're cementing that trust and letting them know you're not alone. Okay. There's somebody like you. I was in your shoes. I made it. So they're seeing success. They're seeing quick wins themselves. Number two, tools and gear handout. Give them their PPE, give them their tools, their program swag, and do it in front of all of the other students. Okay. This makes it real. This makes it theirs. This makes them feel celebrated. Okay. And when they go home with that gear, if they take it home, they're already a manufacturing student, and they're seeing themselves in their career. And so is their family. So now they're cementing it again. And their family is pushing them. And now they have somebody else that what's the word I'm looking for? They need to be accountable to, right? There's somebody else that is making sure that they finish that program, that's invested or feels invested. Okay. Day three, bring in an industry speaker. Okay. And this is not a recruiter. This has got to be a worker. This has got to be somebody making upwards of $25+ an hour, a difference maker in the lives of your community. What's a ways that's going to change and wow these first students? That's who you need to bring in. Somebody from a local plant or your boy. I can come in and put a panel of these people together for you. Um, somebody that grew up in the neighborhood, somebody that grew up around, where there is somebody that's working local, someone who says 3 years ago, I was right where you are. Okay. Here's where I am now. And they can put real numbers, they can put real names to the places. And that's another retention booster. Okay. That makes everything real again. Day 4, we're gonna have that check-in call. I hope you're taking notes. You or a counselor call every single new student, okay? Wherever you are. If you're admissions director, if you are instructor, if you're program director, they should really get a call from all of y'all within that first week. But at least somebody has to make that contact. How's it going? What questions do you have? Is anything getting in the way? And just quick conversation. If they don't have an answer to any of those, maybe give them some, hey, this is what other people in their first week experienced, and this is how they overcame it, or we helped them overcome it. This is what we can do for you if you ever see these things coming up. Don't just leave it there, okay? This is how you catch the problems before they become quiet dropouts, and then you never get this information. Day 5, we're gonna do a Friday huddle, and this is gonna be your whole class. It's gonna be every semester student. This is gonna be every single body. 15 minutes. What went well this week? Okay. Who did something great? This is how you're going to build your community fast, right? You're going to help people show, a community and a culture of celebrating each other's wins. This is going to be a community of helping people see themselves being that person that has these wins that they want to share, right? So this is what is going to build that camaraderie, that community, that culture, and it is going to continue. It's going to be something that people are looking for. Shout out somebody else, not your own win. What else did you see somebody else did great this week, right? So the cost to implement this, maybe a couple $100 in swag if you don't have some already. If you don't have a bookstore, I would honestly make um swag that is department specific. I would or maybe a color of hoodie or whatever it is that y'all have specifically for your department. Um, CNC machinists, welders, so they can really have that pride, right? So the ROI retention is gonna immediately jump from 65 at least. The bottom is 85%. So you do the math on what that's worth in tuition revenue and grant performance metrics, and the people in the top office. I say the top office upstairs because when I was teaching, um, that's where we were. We were in the basement. They had CNC in the basement. We were the basement dwellers tucked off in the corner, and everybody else was upstairs. But I digress. Here's your quick win. Your state interview. You're gonna do this Monday, your Monday morning action for this system. Okay? It should be on the screen, but you're gonna do a state interview. Most programs maybe do exit interviews after students quit. You might talk to some of your alumnus. You might talk to people before they graduate a little bit, but that's way too late and you can't fix much at that point. Okay? Instead, run state interviews at week 2, week 6, and week 12. Okay, if that's the length of your program. 3 simple questions. Question 1, what is working for you right now? Get them winning, get them talking about positive things. Okay. Number 2, what's frustrating or confusing? Figure out what you can help them with. Help them come up with a plan. Don't wait until midterm grades come out. Don't wait until they're already struggling and they've already checked out or quit in their mind, or there's only a week or 2 left and they can't get all these things done that fast, right? Question 3, what would make you more than likely to finish? Let them say in their own words, what can help them, right? This will take 10 minutes per student. It'll catch problems before they turn into dropouts. And that's the main thing. We want to get that retention up. And I've got the template for you in the toolkit that'll have all these questions, rebuttals, all of that for you. Okay. So on Monday, you're going to identify 3 students who are currently at risk. Either that's an attendance gap or consistent attendance gaps, late assignments, quiet in class, and schedule these 10-minute stay interviews with them this week. We need those students to stay in these programs, okay? You're going to assign one existing second year student as a peer buddy for or second semester. Again, it depends on the length of your program for every new student in your current cohort and send that introduction today. Facilitate that introduction. Schedule a day 3 industry guest for your next cohort. Okay. If you're enrolling every semester, if you're enrolling every year, if you're enrolling every year, next semester bring somebody in. Okay. Call one local manufacturing employer today and ask, can you send someone who grew up in this community to talk to our students for 20 minutes? You might have an alumnus network. You might have a company that you work with closely. Tap on them. If not, there's tons in your phone book. Call one of them, introduce yourself, tell them what you're trying to do. And what that's going to do is we'll see in a different system. That's going to start warming up the industry to hire graduates and building out that pipeline. And they'll be more willing to support you when it comes to, sponsoring some of these grants or giving you equipment, even, right? So we've seen all of these different things. Okay. So system number 2 is a screenager Gen Z gold rush. And let me ask you a question. When was the last time a 16, 17, a screenager year old read your email newsletter? I didn't think so. They not on that, right? That's not how they communicate, and that's the problem. It's probably never or next to never. Okay? We're recruiting screenagers and Gen Z using tactics that are built for a generation that's in their 50s right now, right? Career fairs, brochures, they just get tossed away as soon as they get on the bus or don't even make it to the bus 9 times out of 10. Come to our campus, mailers, emails, if they got emails. I don't know what I'm talking about. But meanwhile, they on TikTok, they on Instagram Reels, they on YouTube Shorts, and there's a thing about screenagers that everybody gets wrong. They're not lazy. They're not unambitious. They're rejecting your inauthenticity. They're rejecting the fact that you're putting all this energy into things that they don't care about, but then you saying you care about them, and they can tell that you really don't. So they don't want to come there. It's just it's a back and forth BS meter. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll come there just to get what they need, a couple checks, and as soon as they see what real type of system you're running up in there, they don't want to be a part of it at all. They can smell a corporate ad from a mile away, and they don't respond to polished marketing from institutions. Okay, what do they respond to though? Real people, real stories. And that's why I'm so successful in what I'm doing. I lead with my story. I'm a real person. I mess up. I might even spell stuff wrong every now and then. But I'm gonna keep it a buck and I'm not sensationalizing my story or our story as an industry and what we can do. Okay. So they see what this is and they want to see peers who look like them, who came from where they came from, who show them exactly what's possible. That's your weapon. And this is exactly how you're going to deploy that weapon. Okay. Before we do it, it's poll time. Does your program have an active social media presence? A, yes, we post regularly, 3+ times per week, and with real content. Okay. Not those cartoons, bro. I can't believe I saw that. B, we have accounts but rarely post. They're mostly dead. C, we don't have social media. Or D, what is TikTok? And I'm not tripping. That's why we're here. I'm here to help. Okay, so we're all over the board again, but we have mostly between both of these, we mostly have B. Okay. So y'all took the first step. We got accounts. Maybe the school has an account, but they rarely post. Or like the college I worked at, they would post every other program besides ours. Like we could never get on the school's main post. And automotive was more sexy. Carpentry was more sexy. They had more students enrolled, and it was like, man, we can't, like, if y'all don't help us, how are we supposed to help ourselves? So that's one of the reasons why I personally hopped out online, because our program was not getting any love. So a lot of y'all are there at B, whether you have accounts and rarely post, or like me, there was a school that was running an account and they didn't post about your specific program. Um, that's very unfortunate. But here's the truth: a dead Instagram count is way worse than no Instagram count at all. And you know what that looks like? That looks like you tried and you quit, just like a lot of these students that are in your programs right now. You showed up and then you gave up. And here's the move: you got to get something called student ambassadors. Okay. You need to use your success stories. You already have the people inside of your programs right now. Hopefully, your program is quality and you have at least one success story. But these student ambassadors will pull you out of the position of trying to be the cool administrator making TikToks, you know what I'm saying, or the old person that doesn't know how to really, film the angles that these kids are looking for. They're not getting it, right? And what they are getting is how uncomfortable you look, and it really shows. Or like you're reaching. They call, you're trying, you're try hard, and they see it more. So the best thing to do is, if you want teenagers and you want, job seekers, let the people in your program handle that part, right? Don't be mad at them for making TikToks. Don't be mad at them for having their phone out, right? Let them be your brand ambassadors. They're the most authentic ones that you ever gonna get. And they're gonna tell the real story. So let your students, let your people that are going through your program, let them do it. Let them be the ones that are doing it. Recruit 2 to 5 of them, and the ones are, who you see with the phones out, who are already active. Don't put this on somebody who's not really like that, because then it's just going to be more, it's going to be forced, and it's going to be more inauthenticity, right? So the kids who are active, they always got their phone out, they're always going to be making content. Use those students and give them a simple deal: post 2 to 3 short videos about life in the program per week on their own Instagram, and tag us. And if things are decent and are polished enough, just repost it. Okay. And that way you're showing real behind the scenes content in their language, because they're the people making it. You don't have to ask and beg for them to say certain things. You don't write, no weird script, have chat GPT saying you words that have nothing to do with what you got going on. Um, and it's real, it's not staged, right? And so what do they get? You can give them a stipend per month. You can give them Visa gift cards. You can get them course credit, even better. Or they can get a leadership title for the resume, or they can get all of them, right? What do you get? You get authentic content that actually resonates with the people that you claim you want in your program. And you get real stories. You get peer-to-peer recruiting, and you get, people that convert other people 5 times better than any other marketing that you're going to do yourself or with your staff member. Okay. You might catch a viral win here or there, but this is way more guaranteed, right? And it's more natural and it's less time consuming. And here's a deeper play, and this is the one that's going to change your programs. Take your best graduate, take the person that grew up in a neighborhood who was working a dead end job, who came through the program now making $26 an hour. And I didn't say your smartest, your brightest, the one that had the best grade. Take your best student, okay? Your best graduate, somebody who has that story. And then you're going to take their face and take their story with their permission and put it at the community center in their neighborhood. Put it at the barbershops. Put it in the churches. Put it in the places where the people are. Put it in the community, okay? Not on your website, not on your catalog. Okay. Put it in their community at the bus stops. Okay? You got to make sure that people who you want in your program, who look like them, who embody their same story, can see it. And if it just lives on on your website or your dead social media accounts, nobody's coming. Okay? That one piece of content is going to do more for your enrollment than a $5,000 marketing campaign. I promise you. You're not selling a program, okay? That's what you got to understand. You're not selling your program. You got to sell a mirror, okay? You got to sell a fortune cookie or that magic ball that when somebody looks in, they see the reflection of what their future can be. They see the reflection of what their possibility is going to be. They see what's possible for somebody that's like them in their current position, and then something shifts. Okay. So here's something that I want you to think of when you're doing it: the specificity rule. I want you to be very, very specific. Okay. Maria found a great career does not convert. That's not the promotional, that's not the language that you use. Okay. Maria Gonzalez, 27, mom of two from whatever neighborhood is close to you. Okay. Was making $12 an hour as a cashier. She completed our 10-week program and now earns $26 an hour with full benefits at whatever the name of the company is in y'all backyard. Now her daughter wants to be an engineer. Okay. That's a story that converts. That's a story that if I'm in Maria's position right now, I see her struggle. I know her age. She was 27. She was later in life. She's a mom of two. I know what that means. Okay, maybe I'm a mom of two. She was making 12 an hour. Now in 10 weeks, important, the length of time it took. What was the time investment? Now she earns 26 an hour. So we can tell right there and do the math ourselves. 12 to 26 in 10 weeks, now people are more apt to sign up. Now people want to convert. But you're wasting your time and Maria's time and the community's time just saying Maria got a great career here at da 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 tech. Okay? So here's your quick win. Launch your first day in the life campaign. All right. You're going to identify two currently enrolled students who are already active on Instagram or TikTok. If you don't have a big program right now, if you don't have two people, one, okay? And you're gonna ask them this week, would you post three videos about our program, our student life, what you're going through right now for course credit or whatever Visa gift card, whatever you come up with. Okay. Most of them are gonna say yes immediately. Okay. College students and just students, period, Gen Z, they want these side quests. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they can get a reward for doing it and they can be, compensated, right? You're gonna do this as soon as you can. Okay. And the only brief that you need to give them, the only thing you need to go on is show something real from the shop, a machine, a project, a moment, something you're working on, and answer why are you here, what are you doing, and where are you going? Okay. That's it. Let them take it from there. Okay. Then you're gonna do a content calendar. You're gonna caption the templates and get the success story permission, and I'm gonna put all of these things in the toolkit for you. Okay. So you'll have the template, you'll have all of the things to reach out, you'll know when to post, and you can, get this thing going. So you're gonna do this on Monday. Identify your three best recent graduates from underrepresented backgrounds and email or text them today for permission to share their story. Okay. You're gonna find out what community hubs, either community centers, churches, barbershop, library, are the closest to where the graduates grew up, and that's where their story goes. You're gonna turn them into a neighborhood hero. Okay. And then you're gonna create or revive one social media account and post one real behind the scenes piece of content this week. no polish at all. You're gonna do that thing raw as long as it's not like cussing or anything like that. Okay. And again, I said one, do not try to overhaul or represent yourself on all of these places at one time. Get great on TikTok or great on Instagram. Just pick one and then build from there. Okay. So system three, we have the branding problem. All right. In system three, we're gonna do your manufacturing um glow up, because whether you know it or not, your program name is probably not working in your favor right now. Okay. So the name is gonna matter way more than most people think, and it could be your number one barrier right now. Industrial technology sounds like where kids get sent where they're not college material. It sounds like it's the dunce class, right? It has a ceiling built literally into the name. But advanced manufacturing and automation, that sounds cutting edge. That sounds like a career. That sounds like anybody can get into that. Okay? That's future leaning. That sounds like a job. That sounds like something a smart person does. It's the same exact program, same exact skills, same exact equipment. It's just a different perception from the students and the parents. Okay? And perception is one of the main things that we're fighting against right now. It's everything where you're competing for a person's decision. Okay. So this is how we're going to flip it. Pull this up for you. We're going to go on the offensive. Okay. If you look on the left column, all of these are defensive. Learn to trade, work with their hands, no college degree required, good jobs available, earn while you learn, open to all backgrounds. It's defensive. All of those things you would think, oh man, this is great stuff for my program. This is what I want to hear, right? No college degree required. That phrase literally implies college is the standard and manufacturing is the exception, right? So we got to watch the language that we're using. The new messaging that you see on the right is offensive. So instead of learn to trade, master a future proof skill that can't be outsourced, right? The old messaging, work with your hands. New, build the technology of tomorrow. Literally, no college degree required. Graduate debt free while your peers rack up 100K in loans. That's showing value. That's a real statement. Okay, that's offensive. The defensive messaging, good jobs available. The new messaging, six-figure career paths in robotics, automation, and AI. Old messaging, earn while you learn. New messaging, get paid to train. Health funded, industry backed, job guaranteed. And then finally, open to all backgrounds. The new messaging should be built for people who work hard and want to get somewhere fast. Okay? That includes, and that's all inclusive. The messaging on the right, it flips the comparison. Okay? 100K in debt for a 45K job versus zero debt in a 65 career with upward mobility. And then there's the deeper principle that I need you to lock into and really carry. The name and the messaging aren't just for attracting students, they're for attracting the right students and the parents. Okay. These are the ones that are going to see this program as a first choice and not a fallback. These are going to be the ones that choose your program and they're going to want to compete it because that spoke to them. That meant something more to them than what it was or than what you're trying to convey. Okay. First choice students, as you probably know, have higher retention, higher completion, and higher placement rates. The name is the first act of inclusion or exclusion, and we don't want to exclude anybody. We want to make sure that we're opening the door. Okay. So when we're renaming our classes or our courses or we're changing the language, when we're describing these things, I want you to also know about the sub headline rule. Okay. So my sub headline rule says that every program, every name of a program or a course needs to have a sub headline. And the sub headline has to include things like this. Okay. It has to immediately answer two questions. What will I be able to do? How fast can I start earning? Okay. Those are the only two things that people care about when they're enrolling into these classes or into these programs. Okay. Here's an example. Precision manufacturing certificate. Start in 12 weeks, earn $24 an hour day one. The sub headline is often way more powerful than the already powerful program line. Okay? So it's bigger than the name of the program itself. And unlike the official accredited name, you can change the marketing sub headline as soon as possible. I know when I was in college, we had to, not when I was in college, when I was teaching college, we had to submit any name changes. They had to go to the board, and then they had to go to the accreditation to hire the whatever it was, and then it would all have to be documented and approved that way. But sub headlines don't. Okay, here's a quick win for you. You're gonna do a 5 minute catalog audit. Okay, you're gonna pull up your program catalog or your website. Right, well not right now because we're on this call. But you're gonna do it as soon as we get off of this call. Okay? And you're gonna read every program name out loud, out of your mouth. And for each one that you're gonna ask yourself, would a 22-year-old working at Dollar General in a dead-end career think that this sounds like a path to a better life? Or does it just sound like, more broken dreams and more hardship? Okay. And if the answer is no, that's good. That shows you it needs a subheadline at bare minimum. Okay. Write a marketing name and a sub headline for your hardest to fill program. Okay. The new name, then the sub headline, which includes your earning potential and the time to get to that place. Okay. And you don't, again, like I said, have to change the accredited name. Just add the marketing name alongside it on every community facing piece of marketing, right? Or any type of collateral that you're going to put into the communities, just put it on there. Okay. Now, here's your Monday morning action. On Monday, you're going to pick your hardest to fill program and you're going to write 3 alternative marketing names that can answer the questions. What will I learn? What will I earn? Excuse me, and how fast? Then you're going to add a sub headline to that program's webpage today, as soon as you can. You don't need any bureaucratic approval. You don't need any of that for a sub headline. Okay. And then you're going to pull 3 pieces of student facing collateral and change them. You're going to look at them and say, okay, is this messaging, is this language on here offensive or defensive? And then you're going to update one of those this week. Okay. Okay. System 4, hidden talent pipelines. All right. We're going to confront the lie that we've been telling each other in this industry for a long time. And that lie is that there's a talent crisis. Okay. This is probably going to make you mad. There is no talent shortage. Okay. There's a bridge shortage. The bridge has been broken for too long. Okay. And the problem is all of y'all, all of us, I felt victim to it too. We get into that comfortable zone where we're all just visiting the same high schools or just high schools, period. Or we're all at the same career fair, right? Or we have our MFG day and we're only inviting local high schools, right? So that means we're restricting ourselves to the same pool of local high school seniors who probably already have the same exact program offers that also have offers from other places and their parents pushing them. They might be working at Amazon right now and they just want to go into the field. And and the problem with that is we're restricting ourselves to that. We're putting ourselves in a box and there's thousands of people who would really crush it in these programs in any type of manufacturing program and they don't even know that we exist or they don't even believe it's for them because we're not showing up for them in their places, right? We're only messing with the high school seniors or the juniors, right? And hoping when they become a senior they make that choice. Well, who are we missing? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Okay? We're missing the veterans transitioning out of the military. A lot of times they've got federal funding to pay to go to your programs, right? They got GI Bill, VA, all type of stuff. We're missing the justice impacted, like myself. people who need a second chance and will become your most loyal students. We're missing the women. We're missing people stuck in low wage service jobs who have the aptitude and have the hunger to work for advanced manufacturing. Military spouses, 640,000 of them nationally with a 21% unemployment rate because they move every 2 years and they can't build traditional careers. But you, in those 2 years, can get them trained, certified, even a degree, right? They're perfect for your program. Refugees and immigrants with technical skills from other countries. We're sleeping on them. A lot of times they be having engineering degrees and it didn't mean nothing over here, right? But they still got the skills. So let's use those. Let's reskill them up, certify them. There's people in their 40s and 50s that are later in life career changers. They just need some upskilling and they can work in advanced manufacturing, right? Tech companies. Tech industry is facing some of the biggest historic layoffs ever. Okay. So this is the big one. There's people in the zip codes with the highest unemployment rates that are right there in your backyard. Just look them up. And people aren't even walking into those neighborhoods and saying, hey, we got an opportunity for you. Here's how it works. Let me help you get there. Okay. So you could go after each one of these communities individually, or you could just look at where the unemployment rates are, where the poverty rates are the highest in the zip code surrounding yours, or maybe even in the one you're in, and just show up. Okay. That's your biggest untapped pipeline. And I'm going to give you the exact system to reach these people. Okay. Number one, I tell you that I do this every day in, day out. I'm either working with technical college or learning from them, or I'm seeing all these different things that work that don't work. I'm working with the communities. I'm holding listening sessions. I'm doing all this different stuff. Okay. One thing that I learned and loved was what they're doing at WSU Tech, Wichita State University Tech, out in Wichita. Shout out to Scott. Shout out to everybody that's a part of that program. They're heavily involved in a lot of technical educating conferences. They're just a stellar program, and I can't say enough about them. But it's outside of the classroom proper, outside of the building where the most impact is being made. They have, I don't even know what the official title that they have, but they have neighborhood ambassadors. Okay. And the gentleman that I met was not in an admissions office. He was not at a college fair. He wasn't behind a desk, sitting, waiting for a student to walk by and look at him and make eye contact, then hope that they would want a technical education. He was inside of the community center. Okay. As a matter of fact, he's a Hispanic man in the Hispanic neighborhood that he grew up in at the community center. Okay. Neighborhood ambassador. All right. And his job was really, really simple. Just be present where the people are, right? Answer the questions after church, if you went to church. Have conversations at the community center. Be at the barber shop, right? Be a part of those communications. Be the trusted face from the neighborhood that says, this is real, this is for us. I can help be the bridge and get you in there, okay? This works everywhere. And the reason why is trust travels further through people that come from the community. Okay. And do you know what happened to enrollment from that community? Don't worry, I'll tell you. It went up so high that WSU Tech got a national recognition for the amount of Hispanic students that they had enrolled. And then when you become, I think it's HESC, an institution that serves communities like this at a certain amount, there's money and funding that comes with that. So if you invest in these communities in these neighborhoods, in their case, It was a Hispanic neighborhood because they did the work and the research and they saw that's the zip code that they needed to serve. Once you start building those bridges, there's money tied to that. Okay. So it went up significantly, and the barrier was not awareness. It was trust. And trust, like I said, does not travel through a flyer. Trust travels through people from the community. It works everywhere. This sauce works everywhere. As a matter of fact, check your screens. Here's some regions. Here's some places where I've tried to help implement these things, or they're already doing it. After we told them about what WSU Tech was doing, or they had their own, you know, type of program that was like this. And as you can see in each one of these examples, you can put a place somewhere, whether you're urban or rural, that's going to serve the people and build that trust. Okay. But let's put math to it. Let me tell you what your ROI is going to be, because I know your first question is going to be about the budget. Okay. If your community neighborhood ambassador enrolls 15 additional people per year that would not have known or came to your school at, let's say on the low end, $4,000 per head in tuition, that's $60,000 in new revenue. You pay them $40,000 in salary, okay? Because they can have another job while they're doing this, whatever it may be, and you're still net positive, right? And that's before the industry partnership co-investment, that's before the Perkins funding, and that's before the grant opportunities that open up when you can show community impact data, just like we talked about, okay? So all you got to do, one ambassador, one zip code, 1 year. The ROI is going to be insane. I'm telling you, from day one, and then you just scale from there. You put another one in another community. Okay. But what you don't do is take them out of the community. And the best ambassadors, like I said, are either a program graduate that came from that neighborhood, but definitely somebody that came from that neighborhood. They're not just a recruiter, they are the walking, talking success story. They're the embodiment. They're the proof that this not only works, okay, but it can work for them too. And that's the most important thing that you want to know. And when I talked to him, I was like, what type of conversation are you having? And he was like, man, we have all types of conversations. But what I don't do is I don't try to sell the program. I just answer questions. And a lot of times, a lot of the people in this community were Mexican. And he said in Mexico, you don't even enroll in college the same way that you do here in the States. So even the way that you enroll, even the way that you go to school is completely different. And there's so many questions, and he went through the process as a first generation Mexican. So he's got the answers way better than any brochure or pamphlet could. And of course, he's got a different type of trust. All right. So here's the second half of hidden talent pipelines. Community organizations are going to be your perfect feeder programs. Okay. Most programs think of community organization as like loose partners, quote unquote, over the partners, really loosely, right? I want you to think of them as real referral networks. Okay. And by a real referral network, you know, I want you to look at them as people that are going to be the pre-pipeline for your pipeline. Okay. So organizations that have the people that you're already trying to reach that are already reaching them in a natural way. Maybe they go there for other services, or they're, in the church, or just whatever it may be. And they already have the trust of these organizations, and the organizations want to see their clients succeed. So they have a vested interest in them graduating, getting placed too, right? The partnership pitch that you bring to them is just 3 sentences. Okay. You send us referrals. We give your clients wraparound support and priority enrollment, and we report placement data back to you monthly so that you can show your funders what's working. And the third part is most important. Okay. That's what makes this thing sustainable. When you give, a Jane Addams Resource Corporation, or, Focus Hope, or whatever's in your area, when you give them data for the placements that you're doing with the people that come from their programs, then they use that data to secure more funding for their programs. And then it's a better situation for everybody. or they have access to funding that they can write you into, and then both of y'all get more funding. Okay. So you're not just asking for a favor, you're making them look good, you're making yourself look good, and both of y'all are winning together. It's a win-win situation. So here's some free resources, some community organizations that you can get to. My favorite being Jane Addams Resource Corporation. And here's your quick win. Okay, you're gonna map your talent pipeline. It's gonna take 45 minutes. All right. Open Google Maps and open the census website. Identify your 3 highest unemployment zip codes within 15-minute public transportation, 30-minute public transportation. Okay. For each zip code, identify the top 2 community hubs where people already gather, whether that's a community center, whether that's a church, a library, a barber shop, a mosque, any of those different places. And then list any community organization that you do have currently any relationship with, and then list 3 categories where you have zero relationship. Okay. Those 3 0 relationship obviously have to be your first targets to reach out to this week. Okay. And that brings us to this Monday morning action. Your Monday morning action is going to be to email the 3 community organizations Monday. Your subject line is going to be, I want to place your people in 50K careers. Can we talk? Again, give them the value up front. Okay. If you want to, in the toolkit, there are outreach templates for all of these, and they're separated in which type of organization that you're reaching out to. And it's got a template. All you got to do is fill in the blanks. Okay. Call your local probation and parole office and ask for the workforce coordinator. They've got one in nearly every single county, and they want to have this conversation. All these people want to hear from you, okay? And then you're going to call your American Job Center or go to careeronestop.org and ask, what SNAP and ENT partnerships do you have available for training providers, okay? Then you're going to visit in person this week or send a neighborhood ambassador to the top community hub in your highest unemployment zip code. Introduce yourself, shake hands. Don't even bring your business cards. Don't bring nothing to sell. Don't bring no swag. Listen and have a conversation. Okay? Now, show me the money. We about to land this thing. Trying to get y'all paid. Okay. I want to get y'all access to all of this money that is out there for either you or industry partners or your workforce pre pipeline partners. The cash is there. Okay. And if you're not fully tapping into all of these federal funds that are currently available, my knee itches for some reason, that are currently available or coming up, you are literally leaving millions of dollars on the table, and I'm not being dramatic. Okay, here's what's available: Perkins, 1.3 billion per year for CTE programs. Most programs do apply for this, and you probably are getting some Perkins money right now. But the problem with the Perkins is people apply for the baseline allocation, and then they don't go back for any of the other money that they do qualify for. Okay, so there are reserve funds at the state level that go underutilized all the time, every single year, because programs do not apply. So Perkins baseline and then Perkins reserve funds, you can tap into both of these. Pell Grants for short-term programs. This is new. This is a game changer, and you got to get in on the Pell Grants for short-term programs. If you're not building out 8 to 12 week programs that can turn into, first they should be aligned with certifications, but then they can turn into a feeder for your um, associates or just any longer program that you have. You should be building those out now, because June 1st, you'll be able to get money and extra funding for those. Okay. SNAP ENT, like we talked about, SNAP employment and training is a federal match for training SNAP recipients. Okay. So anybody that qualifies for SNAP, you'll get 50% on every dollar that you spend training low income participants. So most programs don't even know that this exists. Definitely something that you want to tap into, where you can get 50% of that training back on top of all this other stuff. We owe Title One. These are intensive training funds for unemployed adults and dislocated workers, funneled through your local workforce board. So look them up and ask them about the WIOA Title One for displaced workers and unemployed adults. A lot of these people are going to go into your night classes, your certification programs. A lot of these people are perfect for an 8 to 12 week Pell funded short term program. Okay. And then industry co-investment. Manufacturers are paid to have their future employees trained, right? A lot of manufacturers have been having this in the budget for a long time, and they used to do it in house, but a lot of them don't do it in house anymore. So they still have the budget, and it's worth it to them, right? So we'll cover this in System 6. But most programs are just using one of these different things. I'm saying you should be stacking all of them, okay? And the programs that have a wait list are stacking all of these things together, okay? Check out the graphic, each funding source, and then what it covers, and then how you're going to access it up right there. Again, we do have templates and all of that in the toolkit that will be available to you after this webinar, where you can just fill in the blanks, add in your own information, and get funded. But for now, let me tell you a little bit more about the Pell Apprenticeship opportunity, because most programs are sleeping on this. And when it opens, the floodgates are going to open, and the people that have been doing the groundwork leading up to this are the ones that are going to really, really um, benefit from this. Okay. And this should be you. So the government updated Pell eligibility rules to include short term programs aligned with registered apprenticeship pathways. Programs as short as 8 weeks can now qualify if the program leads to a credential in a high wage field, which is all we have, right? Manufacturing overqualifies for that. So here's what this means in plain language. You can design an 8 to 12 week program, right? Maybe this is a fast track or a bridge program. Register as an apprenticeship pathway. Make it free to the student through Pell and Perkins, and then have the company that's going to hire them co-fund the final working interview phase, right? So the back end of it. The cost to the student is zero. There's zero cost. The time to employment is 13 weeks, and the starting wage can be $22 to $28 an hour. And again, I've got templates to set this up for you. But here's the pitch that you want to make to the manufacturer. We'll train your future employee to your exact specification. You co-fund the last 4 weeks as a working interview where they're in your plant, and you only pay the full-time wage if you want to hire this person. Okay. I built out a full in-house internship and co-op internship program where we did exactly this. Okay. No manufacturer. I get nobody ever. I haven't had nobody out of all the years that I ran it, for the 4 years I was at technical college. And anytime I tell somebody to implement this, manufacturers are not saying no to this. In fact, they're pulling the checkbook out, okay? Because they're already paying agencies 30 to 40% markups for workers who most of the time don't even stay. They don't even work out, okay? This way, they've got a training partner, they've got a working interview, and then they don't have to, they're not committed to anything, okay? At the end of it, if it's not what they like, okay? So it's better, it's cheaper, and it produces employees who are more loyal because they came up through a program that had been cheering and waiting for them if you're doing every other step up until this point, right? And this program was co-designed by industry. So they're ready. Okay. Now here's the community impact angle. We talked about what it does for the industry, but this is what it does for the community. When your neighborhood ambassador can walk into a community center and say, yo, this program is no cost to you. It takes 13 weeks. You walk out with a job in hand guaranteed. You don't have an enrollment problem anymore. Okay? Everybody's signing up for that. As a matter of fact, in Philly, me and my man Ron Sizer, I did a show at a high school. He brought applications for his program. I hyped him up, and then at the end of it, he walked around and we ran out. He brought 150 applications. All of them ran out, and then we just started having to take people's information on a cell phone, right? That's how you pack your program. Collaboration, okay? Community trust. That gives you a waitlist problem, okay? So another poll. How many grants or funding resources did your program access in the last year? Is it A, just our standard allocation? B, 2 to 3 sources we've explored a little bit? C, 4 to 5 sources we're actively stacking funding? Or D, 6 plus we built a real strategy? Let me see it in there. Okay, so we're all over the board, but majority of y'all look like you have 1 to 2 funding sources. And that's not enough. Every funding source that you don't access is money that goes to a program in another state, honestly. And they're eating your lunch. And I know that grant writing does feel like it's a second job when you already in the classroom, you already wearing 10 hats, you already, people don't give respect to technical trainers, as much as we do deserve because we're not regular teachers, we're not regular instructors. I need you to, you know, think about it like this, and I got the shortcut. Find programs in your state that already won grants last year. Okay. Their applications are usually public. Look at the structure, customize it for your program, and then submit it. Okay. Grant applications and templates and state by state funding reference guide are in the toolkit as well if you need that shortcut. Okay. But here's your quick win. You're going to unlock your funding stack this week. Pull your current Perkins V allocation and identify any unspent funds. Most programs do not fully deploy their Perkins dollars, like I said. Number two, you're going to contact your state SNAP ENT coordinator, and this is what you're going to say. What do I need to do to access the 50% federal match for our program? Okay? Listen and take notes. Finally, you're going to download the Registered Apprenticeship Program Guide from apprenticeship.gov. And you're going to get all of the steps. You don't have to start doing them right away. Just get the steps and familiarize yourself with them. Okay. Then you're going to identify 2 manufacturers within 20 miles that has a bus route access who could be co-investment partners and ask them, would you co-fund a paid working interview for our graduates? Okay. You don't have to get any deeper into it on that first reach out. Okay. So on Monday, you're going to call the apprenticeship office. What do I need to register a short-term manufacturing apprenticeship program? Write down every step. There you go for your roadmap. Two, you're going to email your state Perkins director and say, can Perkins funds be used for a community outreach ambassador position? The usual answer is yes, and specifically, it's going to be under activity codes 3 or 4. If they say no, tell them to reference activity codes 3 or 4 and double check for you. Don't just take that as an answer. They're being lazy. Okay. Next, you're going to call your local workforce development board, look them up on careeronestop.org, and ask about WIOA Title I co-enrollment for your current students. Okay. And then finally, you're going to apply for one additional funding source this month. Okay. Again, there's a toolkit that will be available to you after this call. There's a grant template library inside of there. Okay. And it does not matter how much these are for. Even 25,000 will pay for some equipment, some marketing. It'll pay for student ambassador stipends. It'll pay some of that salary for your neighborhood ambassador. But go get your money. Okay. And now we have system 6. My voice is getting smoked. And this is industry love affairs, okay? We are going to build relationships where industry and your industry success and your program success are marriage. They're one thing, they're a union, okay? So in the graphic, you can see the difference between a transactional partnership and a transformational partnership. And that's what I'm going to help you build right now. We're going to turn these relationships into transactional, just something for me when I need it, to something that's transformational for both of y'all. Okay. So most industry partnerships, straight out the gate, they are trash. They suck. And I mean that in the most respectful way. Okay. You might be the reason why it's so bad, because you call a manufacturer once a year and you say, hey, can you donate some equipment, and can you maybe hire some of our graduates? And sometimes it works. Sometimes they say yeah, and they do it not because they believe in your program or your graduates, or they really want to give you this equipment. They do it because they feel guilty about this talent crisis, and they feel like if they don't, they're not doing anything to fix it, and it's a national crisis, right? So they send a broke down, clapped out CNC machine from 1987, and then they hire one of your students as a favor, and it's just a transactional partnership, right? And it's just that one time, and the student doesn't end up lasting, and the machine was never any good anyway. Things like that are barely going to move the needle, if at all. Okay. So what we got to do is we got to have transformational partnerships where the industry is just as invested in your success as you are, and especially the student success, because they realize that the more successful you and the students are, the more successful they are. And that model is called co-design. Okay. You don't build a program and then ask industry to support it. You bring them in from day one. They build it with you. Okay. And let them take some of this stuff off of your plate. Like we talked about earlier, technical educators do way more than what we're paid to do. And that's just the truth. We're underpaid and we're undervalued. So here's the model. You're going to sit down with 5 to 10 manufacturers, and a lot of y'all already have an industry advisory board, and I did at my technical college, but the people only came to eat donuts, shoot the and drink coffee and tea. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't real action going on. And if you have one of those, be honest with yourself and let's switch it up. So at the next advisory board meeting, or if you don't have one, bring together 5 to 10 people, and they got to be local manufacturers, and ask them like real straight up questions. Okay, 4 of them. What skills do you actually need? Not what you think they need, but like what do you actually need? Not what I'm guessing, not what I'm hoping, not what I'm seeing other programs doing. What do the manufacturers in my backyard who will be hiring my graduates, hopefully, what do they need? And let them say it. Number 2, what certifications actually matter to you when you're looking at hiring one of my graduates, okay? Or just anybody, right? Number 3, what would make a person hire ready on day one, okay? And then number 4, can you provide internships, working interviews, mentors, and or equipment, okay? Then you build the program together. Okay. And here's why this is transformational. They are invested, it's their program too. The graduates are job ready. You train to their specs. They hire your graduates because they help to build them. And you get funding, equipment, industry credibility. They're talking good about you at all of the meetings, at all of the association meetings. And that makes other manufacturers reach out and want to invest as well, right? And then, most importantly, you get guaranteed placement slots, and placements are the number one thing that's going to sell your program. And I'm going to say this, programs using this model have a 95+% placement rate. Okay. And if you didn't listen to anything else on this whole thing, okay, if none of this other stuff hit home, I need you to listen to this because this is the most important piece of information that you're going to get today. And I want to say it clear and I want to say it so you get this. Stop measuring enrollments, stop measuring graduation rates. Placement rates are your bread and butter, okay? And not just placement rates, but placements and people that stay on a job after 90 days. That's what you want to track. Why do you want to track that? Because enrollment without placement is a promise that your community has been hearing over and over and over again. At the same time, if they know that they invest time and money, and time is more important than money with people that don't have any money, okay? So if they're making that investment and they do not get a job in between or after this program, nobody's coming and they're going to be talking bad about you. And this thing will dry up and you'll have the worst reputation all around. Okay. And that's why some of y'all are losing right now because you're not placing people. Okay. The next thing is the industry is telling you if you don't have placements, they're telling you your graduates are not good enough to work right now. Okay. So if your graduates cannot find one of the 600,000 open jobs at the time of this recording, that means their skills are not up to snuff with what the industry needs right now. Okay. So start measuring placements because enrollment without placement is a recipe to fail a program. The communities you're trying to reach have been through programs that collected their tuition, counted them as enrollment number, use their race or their gender or ethnicity or their social economic status to make more money and to get more, heartstrings pulled on and get more donations. And then they left them no better off. And that's why the trust is historically low for your institutions and for programs like that and like ours, excuse me. And that's why your ambassador has to earn credibility person by person by person until the whole thing turns around. Placement rate is your program's GPA, okay? Period. It's what wins grants, it's what wins industry investment, it what wins community trust. Build everything backwards from a placement, and that is your whole system. That is this whole system. That is the whole thing that is going to change our industry, okay? Most advisory boards are a waste of everybody's time. Okay, you meet twice a year, maybe 4 times a year, and industry people show up. Like I said, they eat donuts. They say, "Hey, great job," pat each other on the back, and then they leave, and then nothing changes. Okay, but here's how to build the industry board that's actually going to work for you and for the industry. Okay, these are the steps that you're going to make sure that it's working for you and it's transformational, not transactional. First, make it smaller. We need 8 to 10 people maximum. Okay. Decision makers only, not the HR generalist, not the hiring manager. We need the floor manager, the person that's working with these people day to day. We need to know exactly what's going to move the needle. Second, meet quarterly. Consistency is what's going to build those relationships. If you can meet more than quarterly, do that. Okay. Third, give them real work and real tasks. Okay. We need help designing this new robotics module. Who can commit 2 to 3 hours to review our curriculum? Okay. Things like that. When they invest effort, then they're more apt to invest money in machines. Okay. Four, we're going to track our outcomes together. Internships placed, hires made, equipment donated, wages at 30, 60, 90, 180 days. Share this data with them every single quarter. Okay. Fifth, we're going to celebrate their wins publicly, just like we do our graduates. Like I said, this is a bridge that goes both ways for it to work. We're going to tag them on social media. We're going to give them credit in our press releases. We're going to make them the heroes. We're going to put them in the communities, okay? They are the hero in the success story. Them and the graduates. We were just a facilitator, okay? When industries sees the ROI from partnering with you, they double down. When they talk about you at their manufacturing association, when they talk about your grads at their manufacturing association, when they naturally do these things, other manufacturing employers want what they have. They see that as a competitive advantage. Okay. So here's the accountability statement I want you to take, and I'm going to take it with you. Okay. If you're not willing to post your placement rate publicly, then you know it needs to change. All right. So when we have a placement first design principle, this is the way that it can change your program. Check out the graphic. All right. So you see all of those wins. Speaking of wins, here's your quick win for this system. You're going to set your placement North Star today. All right. You're going to pull your last 12 months of data. You can go 18, really, if you want a better look. What is your actual placement rate within 30 days of graduation? Okay. If you like us at JARC, most of our graduates have 2 to 3 offers before they graduate. Okay. Next, you're going to set a 12-month placement rate goal that you will be proud of to post publicly and write that number down. Okay. Next, you're going to identify the top 2 barriers that prevent your graduates from being placed. Those are your System 6 priorities. Okay. And then you're going to commit to reporting placement data monthly to your top 3 community referral partners. Okay. Because that, again, makes them look good and helps them get funding and will make them want to write you into their funding as well. All right. And here's your Monday morning action: schedule a 30-minute meeting with your top 3 employer partners this week. One question: what do our graduates need to be day one ready for you? What do they need to step into your plant day one and make you money? Period. Okay. Next, you're going to create a one-page program performance report. It's going to be your enrollments, your completions, mostly important, your placements, and your starting wages. And you're going to commit to sharing it monthly with your community partners. Because again, this is the data that's going to help them get more people into your program. Then you're going to call your top employer partner. You're going to ask, would you be willing to commit to 5 pre-hire working interview slots per cohort if we train to your specifications? That one call is going to be the seed that starts your transformational partnership. I promise you. Then you're going to post your current placement rate on your webpage this week. And if you're proud of it, lead with it. If you're not, let that be motivation and be transparent about what you want to make it to in the amount of time that you're going to get there. Okay. Now, as I promised, I just gave you the 6 systems. And I know some of you are thinking, Drew, this is a lot. How do I even do this? Where do I even start? Okay. And the answer is you do not do all 6 at once. Please don't try that at all. You start with one, you execute the first one, and then you layer the next one on. Okay. The compound effect of all the 6 systems, each implemented a little at a time, builds a completely different program in 12 months. Okay. You won't even recognize your program in 6. Here's your roadmap. Okay. Should be on the screen. Week 1 and 2, you're going to map and audit. Week 3 and 4, you're going to do your first outreach. 5 and 6, you're going to get into the community. 7 and 8, you're going to build the structures. 9 and 10, you are going to activate your plan. 11 and 12, you're going to lock it in. Okay. Here's your targets for your 90 days. Now, here's how the 6 systems work as a machine. Okay. System 1 is going to stop the dropout and it's going to keep the students in the program once they're there. Number 2 is going to bring and alumni success stories is going to bring in students who want to be in your system. Okay. Number three is going to change the way that people see your program. Okay. Your manufacturing glow up is going to position your program as a smart first choice, not a fallback. We're not going to be defensive. Okay. We're going to be the first choice for people that are interested. We're going to make them all interested and then show them that this is a first choice move. Okay. Number four, our hidden talent pipelines opens up the recruiting to the communities that need you the most. Number five, funds everything and makes the program free for the right students or no cost or low cost. System six is that love affair. It's going to guarantee job placements and keep employers invested, interested, and investing, more importantly. Okay? Each system is going to amplify the others, and that's why the programs that are using this framework go from 40% capacity, 20, 10% capacity, all the way up to waiting lists in as little as 12 to 18 months. Some of them 6 to 8. Okay? And the only thing that stops it is not starting it at all or just barely, not doing the system completely. Okay. So I got three ways that you can work with me if you need me to implement this thing faster. Everything I taught you today is free. Okay. If you go execute on these six systems, your program, I promise you, is going to change for the better. All right. I've seen it too many times over these past 5 years to doubt it. These programs that stick to the system, do it everything the way that I've laid it out, are winning every single time. We batting 1,000. Okay. But I also know that implementation is where most of us get stuck at. So this is what I put together to help you do it. Okay. We got the program packer toolkit. It's only $97 for people that watch this call, regularly $197. There's going to be your neighborhood ambassador deployment kit, zip code mapping template, community hub outreach scripts, ambassador job descriptions, perkin funding, request language. We got your program rename workshop. It's a step-by-step renaming process, plus 50 examples that are already there for you, plus a sub-headline formula, community referral network builder. These are the templates, the emails, the MOUs, all done for you. Your federal funding quick reference guide, Pell, Perkins, SNAP ENT, WIOA, all of the things, all the contacts, state by state, are there for you. An alumni ambassador campaign kit, photo consent forms, story capture scripts, social media templates, honorarium program setup. Your placement first program audit's going to be in there. These are going to be self-assessment scorecards, employer advisory board, charter templates, so you can get that thing going the way you need to. Plus a bonus 90-day implementation checklist, every action for today's blueprint, week by week in a fillable PDF form, so you can hold yourself accountable and your team. And there's a 30-day money back guarantee, as with everything that I do. If you implement these things and you don't start seeing results, I want to give you every cent of your money back. I'm not here to do that. Okay. Now, if this toolkit helps you enroll just 5 additional students at $4,000 a piece, that's a $20,000 in revenue off of a $97 investment. Okay. The link is in the chat right now. Get the toolkit. All right. Number two, we've got the complete workshop series, deep dive into each one of these systems. Okay. So that's another hour-long webinar for each module that we talked about, each system. And we're going to break that down for an hour apiece. Each one is going to come with templates and resources. And on the call with you, I'm going to walk you through doing each one of these things for your program. Okay. You can do it for $397. You can choose the modules a la carte, or you can do the complete series for $1997. And we'll walk you through on each one of those modules. Your team is welcome to the call as well. So $397 is an institution price. You pay for one module, everybody gets to come on, everybody gets the resources. Okay. And then finally, we've got the VIP coaching. That's starting at $29.97. We got custom plans for you. That's 90-day custom implementation. Somebody call and sign up for one right now. But this is when I sit with you for 90 days. I'm personally in your corner. Site visits, curriculum review, ambassador deployment, planning. I'll train your ambassadors. I'll help you pick them. I'll go into your community. I'll build out your employer partnerships. I'll do your federal funding strategy with you alongside. Um, and I'm only taking 3 of these per quarter. You do have to fill out an application. And if you're ready to build the whole system with real guidance, the link for that is in the chat, okay? But let me keep it real with you for a second. My alarm's going off. I got to go get my kids. It's been a ball kicking it with y'all today. But I want to be a buck with you, okay? Somewhere in your community right now, someone is working a dead-end job for $12 an hour who would be perfect for a $28 an hour trade job at the plant that's right there in your backyard as well, and they don't know your program exists. They don't know that plant exists, and they don't know that they can do this, and your program doesn't have an idea that they exist, right? You got the bridge, you are the bridge, and here's my challenge to you. Pick one thing from today, one thing from this call, just one thing, okay? Map your zip codes, rename your program, email the community organization, call your state apprenticeship office, contact one graduate about their story, or pull your placement rate. That's all. One thing, free. All it takes is a couple minutes, okay? And then do another, all right? And then do another, all right? And then email me personally your results in 30 days. All right. I'll read every single one. And if you got results, I would love to feature your story in the next webinar or the next module. Okay. Is that a deal? All right. Don't deal in the chat for your boy. Okay. So last poll. What are you going to implement first? Each system is on your screen. Let me know what stood out to you. What is going to make the most sense for your program? Okay, hitting up the chat on both sides. I love it. So I'm watching y'all commit to action in real time, and this is what separates programs that grow from the programs that die. Okay. So remember, you do not need to do all 6 systems at once. Pick one, execute it, then layer on the next. Okay. Because progress is going to be perfection every single time, and you got to get up off your feet and get it cracking. Okay. So I'm going to stay around for a little while longer in the chat. I need to get something to drink, but I will be here in the chat. We got time for some questions. Drop them in. I'll stay as long as it takes. While you're typing, all the links for the toolkit, the workshop series, and VIP coaching are in the chat as well. Grab what you need. No question is too basic. If you're thinking it, somebody else, I promise you, is too. Okay, we got some coming in. How long does it take to see the results from these systems? That depends on your self audit and which system you start with first. Retention fixes. You do system one, you'll see results in 30 days. The state interview alone catches problems before they become dropouts. So that'll get you there. Gen Z content and alumni story deployment from system two, 60 to 90 days, I would say, to build momentum. The first month, you're, just getting a feel for the water. The audience is getting a feel for the new look. And then within 60 to 90 days, you start seeing DMs about signing up for the program. Uh, month three, month four, it really gets compounded. The neighborhood ambassador model, I would say if you pick the right person and you put them in the right places or give them the freedom to go where they know the right places are, you'll definitely see a 30-day enrollment impact. After a year, programs typically see like 40 to 50% enrollment coming directly from ambassador referral. No lie. But again, the key is just starting. Okay, you got to start for something. You waiting for perfection. You're never gonna move. We're a small program with a tiny budget. How do we start the ambassador model? Start before you hire anybody. So your first ambassador activity doesn't require a new position. This can be you yourself. You can go to the community center. It could be one of your instructors every Friday that just chills at the barbershop or somewhere where people are. Bring maybe a brochure and one success story. Show up a couple of times, and you'll know within a couple of visits if you're the right person to be there and if there's enrollment potential. Then you build the case for a budget and you start building around that. For the budget to pay for it, Perkins Activity Code 4 covers outreach to special populations and underrepresented communities. So many states explicitly allow ambassador type programs and positions under this code. Your state CTE director can actually confirm that for you. But if they aren't familiar with the code, just point them in that direction and they'll find it. And the money is already there. It's just a knowledge and a navigation problem. What if administration won't support social media or community outreach strategy? Start small. That's why we start with students because they already have social media. Let them post on theirs and tag you, right? And then you can show those wins. But just get one data point, okay? So one student video, track the engagement versus your last three email newsletters, and you'll embarrass your administration into going in the right direction. For community outreach, I would say pitch it as community partnership development, um, which it really is. It's not social media marketing. Framing matters inside institutions the same way it matters in enrollment. So the data is going to change mine. The small wins change the policy. How do we get manufacturers to actually commit to hiring, not just show up to advisory boards? This is a great question. So you want to lead with their pain and not yours. A lot of times they come and then we're just a sounding board, like, oh, well, I can't get this, I can't get that. The pitch is you're paying 35% markups to temp agencies for workers who may not work out. A lot of times they don't. What if we train your future employee to your exact specs and you only pay the full wage when you decide to hire them? The co-investment there and the offensive there and not the defensive and not the whiny that changes the dynamic completely when they have a working interview and a co-investment model, right? So when they have skin in the game, when they help design the curriculum, when they've co-funded the training, they'll hire the grads because they built them, right? So connect their participation directly to their pipeline problem, and that's what makes it transformation instead of transaction. And these systems work for high school CTE programs. Are they only for college? Yes, every single system works for high school CTE, community college, workforce development centers, you name it. The tactics maybe adjust a little bit. High school programs need stronger potential buy-in. So the messaging audit and the alumni success story development and deployment become even more important because parents make the decisions, not just the students. The neighborhood ambassador model definitely works for high school students. Usually when you use a recent grad, maybe somebody is currently in your program because they know them, they went to school with them, they know their story. Um, and it's one of the most powerful conversations when we leave the room and let them talk to each other. Adult workforce development programs, they're pretty flexible, and the speed to earn framing of the Pell apprenticeship models are going to be your biggest lever, and leverage is. What if we're in a rural area with no community centers? So rural still works. It just looks different. Okay. And rural community centers, the hubs are county extension office, the fairgrounds, local diner where everybody goes, right? On whatever day. the hardware or the feed store, um, the largest church in the county. Usually there's one, right? I know a program in West Virginia whose most effective ambassador sits in the local diner on Tuesday mornings because that's when the farmers come in for breakfast, right? And his conversion rate is higher than most urban programs, open house events, because he knows his community rhythms. And the trust building is the most important thing. So it's the same thing, it's just in housing different buildings. All right, keep the questions coming. These are all great questions. I'm gonna be in the chat answering them till all of them are gone. Thank you for your time today. Links are in the chat for all of the products that we mentioned, and you're gonna get this work. You're gonna give this.